Everything we do will come with a price. Your decisions will always have a positive or negative effect on your life. That's a lesson I learned through an event that I thought I would never be a part of. Through that event, I've truly become a different person. My church has a Mexico missions trip each year. I never went because I honestly was never interested in really participating. I would always make up excuses such as, I'm too busy or I don't have the money. I was hiding behind a facade of excuses because I didn't want to go. My father was going to go that year and he wanted the whole family to go. I was extremely disappointed. Now I had no excuse not to go. I tried to come up with excuses to tell my dad so he wouldn't make me go on the Mexico missions trip, but my dad insisted that I went. We went to go get a passport about a week later for the trip. The trip was only 3 days, but I had a lot of schoolwork to do. I especially didn't want to go because there were 3-hour meetings every Sunday for 3 weeks prior to the Mexico trip. I didn't know how I would be able to get my homework done and go on the Mexico trip at the same time. I had no excuses at this point, and I knew I was going to have to figure a way to balance all my priorities out. We arrived at church around 2 in the afternoon on Friday with my whole family. The Mexico team had another 3-hour meeting that I had to sit through. Afterwards, we all got into a van and headed down to Mexico. There were about 30 people on the trip, but I didn't know any of them. They were extremely nice people, I just never made the time to get to know them. We got to Mexico around 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I ended up talking to one of the members from the Mexico team named Howard after dinner. He was telling me about his experiences as a kid growing up with gang activity and drugs. We ended up talking for a few hours and I started feeling more comfortable with the rest of the team. In the morning, we all headed into the city of Mexico that I still can't pronounce. We ended up going to a mission base off of a program called Yugo. The first day, we started building a home for the Garcia family. They had one child who was 2 years of age. We started building the house around 10 o'clock in the morning. We ended up building the house for about 7 hours. It was extremely hot, but it was enjoyable to know that we were doing something nice for the Garcia family. I was able to visit an orphanage about 5 minutes away as well with some of the members from the team. I will never forget walking into the house where there were about 25 kids and they were so happy to see us. These kids stayed in a home with the pastor because the government wouldn't take them into their local orphanages. He would take these kids in and give them a home. I remember how happy the kids were despite the fact that they were very poor. We played games with the kids and I played soccer with the boys. I met a kid named Alejandro as well. He was 15 years of age and I began to talk to him. He spoke full Spanish, so it was kind of hard to translate. I was in Spanish too at the time, so I was able to speak to him a little bit. He was one of the nicest kids I've ever met. We had to go back to the base around 4:30 p.m. I was looking forward to finishing the Garcia family's home and hanging out with the kids the next day. After our meeting at the base, we decided to get tacos from the taco truck. It was then that I really started talking to a girl named Eunice and Howard more. Getting tacos with Eunice and Howard was definitely one of the most memorable experiences from the trip. The next day, we went back to build a home for the Garcia family. That was our last day to complete it. We finished the home around 12 o'clock p.m. We wanted to surprise the family, so we had them go to the store for about an hour while we furnished their home. After we furnished their home, the Garcia family came to see their new home and were very happy. We prayed over them and then we headed to their local church with them. The kids from the orphanage were there as well. After the church service, we went to get tacos with the kids from the orphanage and we said goodbye to the Garcia family. We ate with the kids and had to leave back to California. Alejandro stopped me after I said goodbye and he gave me a picture he drew. It was just a picture, but it meant the world to me. Now, I look forward to the Mexico trip each year. I still have the picture that Alejandro gave me, and I hope to see him again soon. This trip was very pivotal for me because I realized how much we are blessed in the States. It made me see what the true purpose of life really is. I got home that day and crammed 2 projects all in one night, and it was due the next day. Looking back on it, I wouldn't have changed the experience for the world. I realized that making a difference in someone's life was worth more than any A I could ever receive. Everything comes with a price. The price of me going on the Mexico trip was a lower grade on a project, but I realized that helping those in need is the greatest gift anyone could ever receive. This Mexico missions trip has truly made me a better person, and now I constantly look for ways I could make a difference in someone else's life.